Today, I want to talk about something many of us might not think twice about: sharing our personal stories. We live in a world where openness and transparency are often celebrated, but sometimes sharing everything about our lives can do more harm than good. The title of my speech is, "Don't Tell Everyone Your Story." Why should we hold back? Because not every ear is meant to hear your story. Now, every listener has the right intentions. Our stories are powerful. They shape our identities, influence others, and can make us vulnerable. When we share our deepest thoughts, struggles, or dreams indiscriminately, exposing ourselves to judgment, misunderstanding, or even exploitation. Sometimes people may use our stories against us or simply fail to respect the trust we place in them. Moreover, your story is your power. You reveal it prematurely or to the wrong audience, you might lose control over it. Guarding your story doesn't mean hiding it. It means being wise about when, how, and with whom you share it. Remember, your story is not just about your past. It's about your growth, your future, and your strength. So protect it. Share it with those who genuinely care, who will support you, and who will keep your confidence. In closing, I urge you to think carefully before you share. Your story is precious. Don't give it away to just anyone. Keep it close until the right moment and the right person comes along. Every person's story is unique. It is a collection of experiences, emotions, challenges, and triumphs that together form the essence of who they are. Your story is not just a series of events deeply intertwined with your identity, your beliefs, your values, and your perspective on the world. When you share your story, you are sharing a part of yourself that cannot be replicated or duplicated by anyone else. Personal narrative holds great power. It has the ability to inspire others, to build connections, and to create understanding. When someone listens to your story, they don't just hear words. They feel the emotions behind those words, the struggles you overcame, and the lessons you learned. Your story can become a source of strength, not only for you but also for those who relate to it or draw courage from it. At the same time, because it is so deeply personal, your story requires respect and care. It reveals vulnerabilities, exposes your true self, and sometimes uncovers painful memories or experiences that shaped your life. Sharing such intimate parts of yourself without discretion can leave you feeling exposed and unprotected. Moreover, your story is a living thing, evolves as you grow, change, and gain new insights. It's a testament to your journey and resilience. When shared thoughtfully, it can become a powerful tool for self-expression and healing. But if shared carelessly, may lose its meaning or be misunderstood. Understanding the power and personal nature of your story is the first step toward recognizing why it should be guarded and shared selectively. More than just information, it's a part of your soul, and treating it with the respect it deserves means acknowledging its significance in your life and the lives of others. While it might seem natural to want to share your experiences with others, the reality is that not every person you meet is worthy of hearing your story. Trust is something that must be earned, and when it comes to something as intimate and personal as your life story, it is especially important to be selective about who you open up to. Sharing your story with the wrong person can have consequences that you may not anticipate, from gossip and judgment to betrayal and broken trust. People come into our lives for different reasons, some to support, some to learn, and others sometimes with hidden agendas. Your story contains your vulnerabilities, your fears, your dreams, and your past mistakes. It is a treasure chest of personal information that could be used in ways that hurt you if it falls into the wrong hands. This is why it is crucial to assess the character, intentions, and reliability of the person before entrusting them with your narrative. Furthermore, not everyone has the capacity or the emotional intelligence to handle your story with the sensitivity it deserves. Some listeners may be quick to judge or criticize rather than empathize or understand. Others might be more interested in their own needs or use your story as ammunition in conflicts. Your story is not meant to be entertainment or gossip fodder. It is an intimate expression of your life and identity. Choosing to share your story only with those who have proven their trustworthiness also helps protect your emotional well-being. When you confide in someone who respects your boundaries and values your privacy, you create a safe space for yourself. This safety allows you to be vulnerable without fear of exploitation, ridicule, or misunderstanding. In addition, the right people can offer support, encouragement, perspective that can help you heal, grow, and move forward. They become your allies, your confidants, and your cheerleaders. But these relationships are built on mutual respect and trust, qualities that cannot be rushed or assumed. Discernment is not about being secretive or closed off. It's about protecting your emotional health and your story's integrity by sharing it intentionally and thoughtfully with those who truly deserve it. When we share our personal stories freely and without much thought, we open ourselves up to a range of risks that can leave us feeling exposed and vulnerable. Vulnerability in this context means putting parts of ourselves, our emotions, past experiences, fears, and dreams out into the world where they can be judged, misunderstood, or even exploited. While vulnerability can be a source of strength when expressed in the right environment, sharing indiscriminately often means losing control over who sees this side of us and how they respond. Every time we disclose something personal, we are essentially lowering a protective barrier that guards our emotional well-being. We share with people who do not have our best interests at heart or who lack empathy. Our vulnerability can be weaponized. For example, someone might twist your words, use your insecurities against you, or spread private information that was meant to be confidential. This can lead to feelings of betrayal and hurt and can damage your trust in others for a long time. Moreover, sharing too much too soon can overwhelm the listener, especially if they are not prepared or equipped to handle your story with sensitivity. This can result in misunderstanding, judgment, or unintended consequences, such as pity, criticism, or even social isolation. Sometimes, people respond with indifference or dismissal, which can make you feel invalidated or invisible. When your vulnerability is met with a lack of compassion, it can deepen feelings of loneliness rather than foster connection. There's also the danger that when your story is out in the open, it can define you in ways you don't want. Others may start to see you only through the lens of your struggles or mistakes, rather than the full, complex person you are. Narrowing of perception can affect relationships, opportunities, and even how you view yourself. That's why it's important to recognize that vulnerability is a powerful tool that needs to be wielded carefully. Sharing your story is not about telling everyone every detail, but about choosing the right moments and trusted people who can handle your vulnerability with respect and care. When you share wisely, vulnerability becomes a bridge that connects you to others and fosters genuine understanding. One of the biggest risks in sharing your personal story is the possibility that someone may misuse the information you've entrusted to them. Unfortunately, not everyone has honorable intentions, and some people may exploit your vulnerability for their own benefit, whether consciously or unconsciously. This betrayal can take many forms. Gossiping behind your back, sharing your secrets with others without permission, or even weaponizing your story to manipulate or hurt you. When you open up to someone, you are placing a great deal of trust in their hands. You expect them to respect your privacy and to honor the confidence you have shared. However, the reality is that trust is fragile and can be broken easily. People who betray your trust often do so because of jealousy, insecurity, or a lack of empathy. Sometimes they may be motivated by a desire for control or power, using your story as a way to gain influence over you or damage your reputation. Kind of betrayal is especially painful because it comes from a place of intimacy and trust. It can leave you feeling exposed, hurt, illusioned, not only with the person who betrayed you, but sometimes with yourself for having trusted them in the first place. The emotional wounds caused by such breaches of trust can take a long time to heal, affecting your ability to open up in the future. Additionally, misuse of your story can have practical consequences. For example, personal information shared in confidence could be used against you in professional settings, social circles, or even legal situations. Once your story is out there, it's nearly impossible to take it back or control how it's interpreted and spread. Loss of control can be incredibly destabilizing and may affect your relationships and reputation. Because of these risks, it's crucial to carefully evaluate the character and intentions of the people you confide in. Trust should never be given lightly, especially when it comes to deeply personal aspects of your life. Protecting your story is not about being secretive or suspicious. It's about safeguarding yourself from potential harm and ensuring that your vulnerability is met with respect and care. Your personal story holds a unique kind of power. It is a reflection of your experiences, your growth, your resilience, and your identity. When you share your story selectively, you maintain control over this power and how it is used. However, if you reveal it indiscriminately or without careful thought, you risk diminishing your own influence and losing authority over your narrative. Think of your story as a precious asset. Just like any valuable possession, requires protection and thoughtful management. When you guard your story, you decide who gets to hear it, when and how much you want to share. This control allows you to present yourself in a way that is authentic but also safe, ensuring that your vulnerabilities aren't exploited or misunderstood. By protecting your story, you are also safeguarding your self-respect and dignity. When you share too freely or with the wrong people, your story can be trivialized or distorted, which can affect how others perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. Guarding your story helps you avoid being reduced to just one aspect of your life or one moment in time. It reminds you and others that you are more than your struggles, failures, or setbacks. Moreover, when you keep your story protected, you preserve its impact. Stories shared thoughtfully and intentionally carry more weight and meaning. They become powerful tools for inspiring change, fostering empathy, or teaching important lessons. Your story is shared too often or in the wrong context. It can lose its significance and become background noise, diminishing its ability to influence and connect. Guarding your story also means being mindful of your emotional energy. Sharing deeply personal experiences can be draining, and doing so repeatedly or with the wrong people can leave you feeling depleted. Protecting your story allows you to conserve your emotional strength and share it only when you feel ready and safe. Ultimately, your story is a source of your personal power because it embodies who you are and what you've been through. By guarding it wisely, you maintain your agency and ensure that your story serves you, helping you grow, heal, and inspire, rather than allowing it to be a source of vulnerability or harm. Sharing your personal story is not just about what you say, but also about timing, context, and the manner in which you choose to open up. This is where wisdom plays a crucial role. Knowing when and how to share your story requires self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and a clear understanding of your purpose in sharing. Timing is everything. There are moments when sharing your story can bring healing, connection, or provide support, not only for yourself but also for others. For example, opening up during a close, private conversation with someone you trust can foster intimacy and mutual understanding. On the other hand, sharing too much too soon or in a setting that is not safe or appropriate can backfire. It may lead to discomfort, misinterpretation, or emotional harm. Equally important is understanding the how. How you tell your story, your tone, your level of detail, and your emotional readiness can greatly influence the outcome. Sharing with clarity and calmness, rather than in the heat of the moment or out of a need for validation, ensures that your message is received with the respect and seriousness it deserves. Thoughtful storytelling also helps you retain control over your narrative rather than letting emotions dictate the direction of the conversation. Another aspect of wisdom is recognizing your own readiness. Sometimes you may feel pressure to share because of external expectations or social trends. It's important to check in with yourself first. Are you emotionally prepared to revisit these memories? Are you comfortable with the possible reactions? Are you ready to face any consequences that may come from sharing? If not, perfectly okay to wait. Wisdom also involves discerning your audience. Different people have different capacities to listen, understand, and respond. A story that resonates deeply with one person may be met with indifference or misunderstanding by another. Choosing the right listener means finding someone who is empathetic, trustworthy, and genuinely interested in your well-being. In addition, wisdom means understanding the potential impact of your story, not only on yourself, but on others. Sometimes sharing can help break down stigma, encourage others to speak out, or create awareness about important issues. Other times, it may unintentionally hurt someone or create conflict. Being mindful of these possibilities helps you decide how much to share and in what way. Ultimately, wisdom in sharing your story is about intentionality, about choosing to share not out of impulse or obligation, but because it serves a purpose that aligns with your values and goals. When you cultivate this wisdom, your story becomes a powerful tool for connection, healing, and growth, used in ways that uplift and empower you rather than leave you feeling vulnerable or exposed. One of the most important reasons to be selective about who you share your story with is the quality of support you receive in return. When you open up to the right people, those who truly care, listen with empathy, respect your boundaries, you create a foundation for genuine support that can be transformative. This kind of support is not just about hearing your words, it's about feeling understood, validated, and uplifted. Right listeners provide a safe space where you can be vulnerable without fear of judgment or betrayal. They listen not to judge or criticize, but to understand and offer encouragement. Kind of empathetic response fosters trust and deepens relationships, allowing you to share more openly and authentically over time. When your story is met with kindness and respect, helps to heal emotional wounds and reduce feelings of isolation. Moreover, genuine support often involves practical help as well as emotional comfort. The right people may offer advice, resources, or assistance that can help you navigate challenges. They become your allies, standing by you in difficult times and celebrating your successes. Kind of support network strengthens your resilience and provides a buffer against stress and adversity. It's also important to recognize that genuine support is reciprocal. Just as you share your story and receive empathy, you become a source of support for others. This mutual exchange deepens connections and creates a community of trust and understanding. Being part of such a community reinforces your sense of belonging and self-worth. Sharing with the right people also means that your story is more likely to be kept confidential. Trustworthy listeners respect your privacy and understand the importance of discretion. Confidentiality preserves your dignity and prevents your story from being shared inappropriately, which can otherwise cause harm or embarrassment. On the other hand, sharing with the wrong people, those who lack empathy or who gossip, can leave you feeling betrayed, isolated, or misunderstood. This can damage your confidence and make you reluctant to open up in the future. That's why it's crucial to identify who in your life truly deserves your trust and who is capable of providing the support you need. Ultimately, sharing with the right people builds a network of genuine support that nourishes your emotional well-being and encourages your growth. It transforms your story from a solitary burden into a shared experience that fosters healing, connection, and empowerment. Your personal story is not just a reflection of what has happened in your past. It is a living narrative that continues to evolve as you grow, learn, and move forward in life. Every experience, whether positive or challenging, contributes to your development and shapes the person you are becoming. Understanding this helps you see your story not as a fixed chapter, but as an ongoing journey that holds the potential for growth and transformation. When you share your story selectively and thoughtfully, you acknowledge that your past experiences are stepping stones rather than limitations. Each challenge you've faced, every setback you've overcome, adds to your resilience and wisdom. By recognizing this, you reclaim your story from being a source of pain or shame and instead embrace it as a source of strength and motivation. Your story also carries lessons that inform your decisions and shape your future. Reflecting on your past allows you to understand patterns, identify growth areas, and set new goals. Sharing your story with trusted people can bring fresh perspectives that help you see your experiences in new ways, opening doors to healing and opportunities for change. Moreover, your story serves as a bridge between your past and your aspirations. It connects who you were with who you want to become. When you protect your story and share it intentionally, you control the narrative of your future, framing it not by your past mistakes or hardships, but by your capacity to overcome and thrive. Seeing your story as part of your future also empowers you to use it as a tool for inspiration. Whether it's inspiring yourself or others, your experiences can fuel hope, encourage perseverance, and demonstrate that growth is possible despite difficulties. This mindset transforms your story from a static recount of events into a dynamic catalyst for progress. Additionally, as you continue to grow, your understanding of your story may deepen and change. You might find new meaning in past events, recognize hidden strengths, or forgive yourself and others. Ongoing evolution highlights the importance of not rushing to share your story prematurely, as your relationship to it will mature over time. By appreciating that your story is part of your growth and future, you affirm your ability to evolve beyond your past. You embrace the idea that your story is a source of empowerment, not a chain holding you back. This perspective encourages patience, self-compassion, and intentionality as you decide when and how to share your journey with others. In a culture that often values openness and transparency, it can be easy to feel pressured to share everything about ourselves, our thoughts, feelings, experiences, and struggles, especially on social media and in casual conversations. However, choosing to keep certain parts of your story private is not a sign of weakness or secrecy, rather a powerful act of self-respect and emotional intelligence. Privacy is a way of protecting your inner world, your vulnerabilities, and your sense of identity. It allows you to maintain boundaries that keep you safe from unnecessary harm or intrusion. When you practice discretion about what you share and with whom, You are asserting control over your personal narrative and safeguarding your emotional well-being. Discretion involves thoughtful consideration of the impact your story might have if it is shared publicly or with the wrong audience. Not every detail is meant for everyone, and not every situation calls for full disclosure. Choosing to withhold certain aspects of your story can prevent misunderstandings, judgment, or exploitation. Also helps you maintain dignity and respect in your relationships and social circles. Moreover, privacy allows you the space to process your experiences internally before making them public. Some stories require time to heal, reflection to gain clarity, or even professional support before they can be shared safely. Discretion gives you the freedom to navigate your journey on your own terms, without external pressure or scrutiny. Practicing privacy and discretion also builds trustworthiness. When others see that you respect your own boundaries, they are more likely to respect yours as well. It sends a message that you value integrity and thoughtful communication, which can strengthen your relationships and social standing. Furthermore, maintaining privacy can actually enhance the power of your story. When you reveal parts of yourself selectively and intentionally, those moments become more meaningful and impactful. People tend to listen more attentively and respond more empathetically when they know that what you share is carefully considered and significant. Finally, privacy is a way of honoring your complexity. You are more than the sum of your experiences, and you have the right to keep some parts of yourself reserved for yourself. Respect for your inner world fosters a sense of self-worth and empowerment that comes from knowing your boundaries and protecting them fiercely. While your personal story holds incredible potential to inspire others, uplift those who are struggling, and foster connection, it's important to remember that your story is only one part of who you are. It does not define your entire identity, your worth, or your future. Distinction is crucial because it allows you to share your experiences without being confined or limited by them. Your story includes moments of joy, pain, success, and failure, all of which contribute to the richness of your life. When shared thoughtfully, your journey can motivate others to overcome their own challenges, find hope in difficult times, or gain a new perspective. Your experiences can be a beacon of light that helps others feel less alone and more empowered. However, it's equally important to recognize that your story is not a fixed label or a complete summary of your being. People often make the mistake of identifying themselves or others solely by their past hardships or mistakes, which can lead to feelings of shame or being stuck in old narratives. Embracing the idea that your story is just one chapter in your life encourages you to continue evolving beyond it. This mindset helps you maintain a healthy relationship with your past. Instead of being defined by what happened to you, you are defined by how you respond to it, how you grow from it, and who you choose to become moving forward. Your story is a source of strength and learning, but it does not limit your potential or determine your future. Additionally, understanding that your story does not define you allows you to protect your sense of self-worth from external judgments or misunderstandings. People may interpret your story in many different ways, some of which may not be accurate or fair. By holding firm to the idea that you are more than your story, you preserve your dignity and empower yourself to rise above negative perceptions. Your story is also a living, evolving thing. As you continue to live, learn, and grow, your story changes too. New experiences add depth and new meaning, and your perspective on past events may shift. Ongoing evolution reminds you that you are not static but continually becoming, with the power to rewrite your narrative as you see fit. Ultimately, seeing your story as a source of inspiration rather than a defining label frees you to embrace your full potential. It encourages you to share your journey when you choose, to inspire others without losing yourself, to continue growing beyond any single experience or chapter in your life. In closing, your story is precious, powerful, and deeply personal. It is a reflection of your journey, one that deserves to be shared with care, wisdom, and intention. By choosing carefully when, how, and with whom you share, you protect not only your story, but your peace, your power, and your future. Remember, vulnerability is strength. It is also a gift best given to those who truly honor it. So guard your story well, and let it be a source of healing and inspiration, not a source of harm or regret. Your story belongs to you, and you alone have the right to decide how it is told. Thank you.